gonna record to the cloud.
Hi, Kelly.
Good stuff.
People being available. Okay, guys. So welcome to the business opening Zoom information session. We are here as initiative, which is called weareallessential.ca. That's the actual website and the initiative. And we obviously here as a part of the Hugs of a Mask movement, which is a grassroots movement that started this whole thing back in May. And even back then, I already was very focused on actually talking to the businesses, and specifically myself. If you don't know, I have two primary works that I've been a part of. One is a server and a bartender for over 10 years, working here in Toronto, different restaurants with Mark McEwen and many different other chefs or restaurants, as well as a health and wellness coach and also a personal trainer. I even had my own wellness studio for over 4 years on Eglinton area. So I personally have an understanding of what it is to be a business owner. I still am, as well as have a physical brick and mortar business. So understanding, you have to pay the lease every month, actually beginning of the month, before you make even any money, you pay your lease first. So the part of creating an income to sustain yourself and how essential it is for yourself and obviously for your family, I have a very close understanding to that. So what I'm saying is that even when I went to end the lockdown protest in Toronto May 2nd, already then I was reaching out to other personal training studios or maybe small gyms and really empowering them just to open up. Don't really follow restrictions. We have to defy the government, because by then we already knew the real data definitely did not justify anything that the fake model was creating, and the government was really following the fake model. Now, 8-9 months later, unfortunately, a lot of those businesses, gym, training studios specifically, that I personally reached out because I knew those people in person, guess what? They bankrupt and they're out of business. And I know how much money they actually invested. Like, I don't know how they're even going to survive, as a partnership and whatnot, but that's the reality of it. That at the end of the day, we make a choice and we have the outcomes. And unfortunately, the reality shows that the government does not care about the businesses. All the incentives programs that they create, most of the time it just kind of prolongs the slow death of the businesses and not really helping. So having said that, we are all essential initiative. I really created it now, focus about a month now, and we have amazing people working already, as well as more people are joining. And the idea for it, first of all, is to create a network of support. So the mindset specifically is to create network of other businesses that are going to come together, support each other, create cross promotions to encourage customers to go to different businesses, and also create an opening plan, and not even a plan per se, but just more like a date where we can coordinate everybody's taking action on the same day. And we're going to talk about it later at this call. And that's it. And then also discuss different support that the businesses will have from different organizations in terms of the legal assistance, because we definitely want to make sure that we are transparent, we support you in all the endeavors that should take place. And we're here, again, at the end of the day, to make sure that we are all essential and we're able to provide the livelihood for ourselves and for our family. And also, to show that you're actually essential fabric of the community, because small businesses actually make up the community that you're part of, local community. So having said that, I would like to introduce Samantha, who's the leader of the We Are All Essential initiative, and she can introduce herself a little bit too, with the history, to kind of show you that we have personal understanding of the industries, and as well as to kind of show you already some of the framework that created, as well as what else we have going on right now. Go ahead, Samantha.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this. And I'm really proud to be a part of this initiative. I was in the hospitality industry for decades, up until very recently. And I've certainly experienced the difference this year, working as a server manager in this industry. It's been tough. My income went down by about 70% at one point. And since then, it was just one thing after another. I started facing the reality that as much as I had constitutional rights to assemble peacefully and to, basically, have freedom of speech and all that stuff. My social media posts, my activism, it was discovered by by two employers so far, and I was basically let go for having violated the public health orders, and as much as they said I have the right to believe what I believe, basically, as much as I have a right to protest, I do not have a right to work if I do. So this certainly has inspired me very much to support this industry in other ways. And so I have taken the lead on sort of coordinating some of our efforts, or all of our efforts really, but looking at different materials, support documents, tools that we can use to educate businesses on their rights and on how to really stand up in the face of these really oppressive mandates. And I definitely will go over some of what we have going on so far, some updates on tools that are in the works and should be available very soon for both volunteers who are helping us to get the word out there, as well as, like I said, support documents for business owners who are considering and are ready to take action, to protect their businesses, their livelihoods, so Vlad, do you want me to jump into one of the documents that I that we're intending to give out to as just supportive documents for businesses, and as well as stuff about the website and that sort of thing, or shall I jump into that? Okay, so we do have a website currently, although we are completely revamping it and loading it with all sorts of really encouraging cases of businesses that have already stood up. We're going to be loading it up with all sorts of legal support and just information for businesses to know, to fully understand their rights and be empowered with that information. So that is very much in the works. I think we should have something live, I would think, toward the end of this week. Yeah, Vlad, cool. And in the meantime, I've put together just a brief summary. And right now I have a graphic designer working on the look of it, make it more professional, add some graphics, that sort of thing. But I will just show you the content of it and just trust that it will be more professional looking in the next day or so. And then I'll also go over some other materials that we have in the works as well. So I'm going to share my screen. I'll just give the overview. Now, so this particular document that I'm showing you is for BC. However, I have someone in Toronto doing it up for Ontario. And by all means, if there's anyone on this call who's living in another area, you'll see that this will be easily adapted. This can be easily adapted to any region, and I can show you where to get the information and just plug it in real quick. So knowing your rights and the means to protect them. I'll just go over quickly what this document includes. Knowing your rights and the means to protect them. Unlawful tickets that may be issued. We really want to paint the picture and not sugarcoat things. Give business owners the real information, what they might be able to, what they can expect, and how they can, be protected regardless. So unlawful tickets they might incur, legal supports and funds that are available to them, community support that they can count on. And that comes in a number of different ways, as well as just some expert reports that really support this. Lockdowns are not the solution, right? And just helping them to not feel guilty, I suppose, for for taking action to protect themselves and everyone. So and then as well as just some alliances that we have, some legal cases that are underway. So that's all in this document. Okay, so knowing your rights, protecting them. This first page is really important. This is about the state of emergency that was declared in every single province in March in a matter of a couple weeks' time. And it was completely fraudulent in that it never met the definition nor the criteria required for a state of emergency. And the reason why this is so important is because every single mandate, every single public health order, every single suggestion that was taken as law, essentially, is based on this Emergency Act. And not only has, so this breaks down the numbers for BC, and and I can give access to the site, well, not access to, but there is a site that has the current breakdown for every single province, the numbers, like really just here are the facts, here are the numbers. The state of emergency never existed back in March. It was based on forecasting, which modeling, which we know now was completely inaccurate, and it has yet to meet those conditions. So they've continued on this state of emergency without any justification. So as I said, all these mandates are from that. So just for a lot of people don't know that. So it's important to start with that, I think. And then this is again in BC. Now we don't have a complete lockdown at this point, but these are some of, based on the current public health orders, PHOs, these are some of the tickets that can be issued. Fines up to $2,000, and just go into some details. Now this is actually specific, I should say, to the restaurant industry, hospitality industry. Now we can certainly do one, and we will do one related more to fitness, wellness, that industry, which is another huge focus of ours. So the two main areas we're looking at, two main industries that we're really looking to make
statement.
A statement with, yes. Thank you, is hospitality and the fitness wellness industries. Yes. All right, and then we get into how to go about disputing the ticket, and then we get into legal supports that are currently available, and we'll certainly add to this as more come to light. For instance, Rebel News pledging to represent the first 1,000 cases for ticket violations under the COVID measures. I actually just submitted one today, so I'm interested to see what comes of that. And as well, the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, they are very much committed to supporting citizens who have been affected, whose constitutional rights have been affected. Stand Up Canada, they go into great detail on their website around the kinds of support that they offer, from connecting people to, like, help people to fight these losses in small claims court. I'll just scroll real quick. Connecting people with paralegals, referring them to law firms, that sort of thing. And Vlad, is there anything you want to add at this point to this document in terms of the discussion?
Yeah, so actually, if you can make a note, the thing that I want to add to the document, to the first part, would be discussing the excess death numbers, because now, as we are almost at the end of 2020, the real data shows that we actually have less people dying overall in Canada, and actually the same numbers are for United States already available, potentially I think for the world too. So the fact is, the real data 20, we have less people dying overall than the previous 2019 or even 2018. So that, again, real data proof that there is no pandemic. So for the businesses that might feel possibly guilty about opening the businesses up and thinking that they might be actually doing a harm to the society, actually the opposite is the truth. In terms of the legal support, Rebel News has also dedicated a special website, which is iwillopen.com, which is specifically designed to support businesses who are defying government restrictions and just opening up, either opening up fully or even just opening up in sense of not following the "we are all essential" criteria that are all just biased anyway. And yeah, those would be a couple of additions we can make. And otherwise, that's a great document. As you mentioned, obviously, any parts will be adjusted a little, but the mindset is the same. That for most of the time, the tickets that are issued are just administrative fines, and you just dispute them to courts like you would do with a parking ticket. There's nothing to be afraid. And the website will be featuring real examples of people defining such orders. We're going to feature the history one from almost 30 years ago in Toronto, where the single man was fighting restrictions on operating business on Sunday. And then we're going to be featuring current ones. The most famous one right now actually comes from New Jersey. Ian Smith is a gym owner. Actually, he has now over $1 million in fines already issued to him, and he just keeps operating his business regardless. So, and there's quite a few other people that stood up and just operating the business, and they have a lot of people supporting them. And that's the whole point, that you might lose some of your regular client because they might not agree with you. It's okay. That's just part of the process. However, there's plenty of people who will support so-called freedom business, which basically just allows people to exercise their freedoms and choice of personal safety and protection how they see fit, right? It's not a business responsibility to enforce unjust requirements made by bureaucrat politicians.
No. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a commitment we're going to make to, for those that are a part of our network, and looking to do a coordinated reopening or staying open kind of thing, depending on which province we're talking about. Really tapping into our alliances and our memberships and really getting the word out to support these businesses. And, Rebel News is looking to profile them as well, that sort of thing. So just supporting them in every way we can, both from a customer base as well as from the legal standpoint, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
go ahead.
The last part of the document so far is just some key reports by well-respected, experts, showing that there's plenty of support to suggest that the current measures, the current strategy being taken is completely unjustified. And
the other thing that we can also look into getting, and we have people help you out, Samantha, is the data actually shows there's no transmission, or like barely single percentage of transmission that actually happens in businesses that are forced to be closed. I think that's also very important, again, to just empower the businesses to show them that they're not doing anything wrong in the sense of contributing to the spread. They're not, because the restaurants and gyms, I think, when they were allowed to operate, I think it's 5% of cases actually comes from those. So again, it's completely unjustified to force them to shut down. And at the same time, the basic example of Costco and Walmart being flooded with people, but then the little restaurant is not allowed to have, inside dining room. It just makes no sense whatsoever. And then the other thing that we can definitely include is the example with Winterlicious. Again, I say it always, that in 2003, during SARS outbreak, a very similar situation, the city of Toronto actually created an incentive program to encourage people to go to the restaurants, right?
Vlad, yeah, I did. It's Supinder here. A question about just niche retail industry, especially in Toronto, for example, right? All the independent stores, and providing them similar information. I guess it can easily be adapted and expanded, right, for that purposes. And also just to be leery about the fact that, because I've heard this from some of the not especially so smaller restaurants where they can do takeout. Some are doing extremely well with takeout options. So whereas others, for example, here in Streetsville, Cagney's, for example, a more higher end restaurant, they can't do the takeout option. No. So we may need to target within the restaurant industry.
I agree for sure. Yeah, definitely. The focus for us wouldn't be just a small corner takeout joints, because they actually probably making even more money right now than they did before, because everybody's going to them. I believe for sure our focus should be more established, larger capacity restaurants, because they are pretty much, on a last breath, so to speak. Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you for that point. And in terms of even a little bit of a strategy, I do have a strategy in mind, and I want to share it with businesses individual. So the businesses like spas, wellness centers, that want to kind of play within the criteria. There's something that actually I'm strategically want to create. So if you do have a place like that and you want to continue operating a business and staying open, there's something that we're looking to do where you kind of playing with the rules, but you're still operating a business. So that's just something for you guys to know, that once we have those specific businesses, we can share with them exactly one-on-one, because I do want to keep a little bit of an element of surprise there. Any other questions from businesses or any other people that's on the call, please?
Quick question, clarification on the number of deaths that you say are lower in 2020 than other years. You're talking about all deaths, including
all deaths.
Yeah.
So you cannot have a pandemic and have less people dying overall in Canada, in United States, in the world.
Yeah, you're talking about cancers, everything included in all those, right? That's what you're talking
Shows
about.
total amount of, yeah, if you go on my Facebook, oh, you're not on Facebook, I can send it to you, Federico. Yeah, there's a graph
Yeah.
that shows very clearly
Yeah.
that this year is almost over and we have less people dying this year than last. And even if it was the same, supposedly in the year of pandemic, we should have
Right.
more, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and I read something yesterday to that effect. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
No, you're very welcome. And then the other, I mean, it's a sad joke, but it is a joke that Austrian parliament official, I think, he tested Coca-Cola, and guess what? It was positive for COVID. So now, on top of goat and papaya being tested positive for COVID back in the summer by Tanzania president, who actually has a medical degree, we now have Austrian politician testing a sample of Coca-Cola, and it's also positive for COVID. So now, you know, people lost their livelihoods, the businesses, and children and elderly being suffering in psychological trauma, all pandemic, unfortunately, at this point. Tina, you have a question? Comment?
It's more a comment, just to elaborate on what you said about the all-cause deaths, when you're including the top 3 deaths, cancer, heart, cardiovascular. And we can drop the flu in there because we know they're no longer tracking flu, but when you look at those total deaths, it looks like COVID cured the flu, heart attacks, cancers, and everything. There's no room for that pandemic amounts. It's just ridiculous. It's so clear.
Yeah.
When you look at the stats.
And then the other leading cause of death, actually, especially in the Western world, in Canada, in the United States, and then I'm pretty sure UK, is actually medical errors. It's actually it's a third of the 4th leading cause of death.
Actually, the first they reported at 10%.
Average you have, so COVID doesn't even fit in the top 10 ever. Cancer, heart disease, and stroke, and then medical errors are like in the top 4. And what are we doing? But again, as we said, this is the year of 2020 vision, so we can literally see, the truth behind the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that I actually want to start trending, guys, and I'm going to need your help. What's happening right now, and I'm not going to take credit for it. I read it somewhere. I can't remember on which post or which somebody shared it. What's happening right now is actually economic terrorism. This is actually our government is actually involved in economic terrorism on our middle class people. That's literally what's happening right now. We have all the data to show that this is a true scam, conspiracy, and the primary target and primary victim of all these measures is a small business. Mm-hmm. So when we come from that angle, I think it's a very clear conversation, and we have to start calling politicians, and we have to call the media. And I'll ask Kelly to do a press release regarding that, because we definitely want to start having this conversation that what's taking place is the economic terrorism, and we should just end this all immediately. Yeah.
On that point, Vlad, the other thing I came across this weekend was he was a lawyer from Montreal, of Quebec, someplace, Montreal, and he went through the top 10 list, top 10 criteria of emotionally abusive relationships.
Yes. Yeah.
That was phenomenal. I really liked it. I thought this is exactly how we need to paint this relationship between the people and its government in terms of the emotional abuse, because when you go through the criteria of what an emotional abusive relationship looks like, we meet the criteria.
All 10 points.
Finding that in our marketing materials going forward, that's something we're going to try to work on too at our end. So
cool. Well, I said this right in the beginning, in regards to economic terrorism. I showed Vlad right back 9 months ago that this was a violation of Section 83 of the Criminal Code of Canada. So, and there's been nothing but violations to Section 83. Everybody else who is trying to hold this government to account by civil means is a waste of time, as far as I'm concerned, because they can prolong that in court as long as they like. When it comes to criminal charges, however, that's completely different. They cannot prolong it. There's no bureaucracy that can be thrown in front of a criminal charge. So it is time to start bringing forth criminal charges to every faction in every municipality.
Yeah, that doesn't work with the Liberal government because they seem to own the RCMP, so they don't seem to want to be able to get around.
We don't necessarily need the RCMP to motion the judicial system, like the upper courts, the higher courts. in order to bring forth criminal charges. We can bring forth criminal charges without the RCMP.
Yeah, something we're going to work outside of there. We're all essential, but just guys to let you know that this, again, to empower the businesses to open up. Again, this call specifically is to get businesses to open up. And having said that, and I want to open up again for any other questions people have. Our goal, we are all essential this week, is to get 10 businesses in each municipality to open up on Friday. So if you are closed as of now, Friday is the day. It's the 18th of December. So Toronto, Peel, York, Windsor, Hamilton, any other jurisdictions to open up. And again, I would strongly empower businesses that have restrictions still able to operate, but have restrictions just to open up fully and just allow people to come in and exercise their rights and freedoms how they choose, but to definitely operate at full capacity. Because again, I really believe that for most businesses, especially large ones, when they operate at 30% capacity or less, it's actually worse because they're losing money and they're just prolonging the slow death of the business because the business,
and they're increasing the personal stress. Not only that, we do have someone who just couldn't attend this call tonight who has a preventative measure as well as all the things that we're offering on this call in order to help your business. So but they do have a preventative measure. He's going to review whatever business is ready to open for Friday, just get in touch with us and you will speak directly to Dermot as well in order to put every measure in place.
Yeah. No, we have a lot of strategies aligned, so we just want to make sure, guys, you are ready to take action. Go ahead, Samantha.
One of the other materials we have in the works is just getting the graphics put onto it now. Is really just like a quick info card, so not the lengthy document that I just showed you guys, but just something to really provoke some thinking and just with that help businesses to face their reality, which is the main question is going to be like, how long can your business survive under these mandates, right? How long will your business survive under these mandates? And obviously having some links to resources that they can also, take a look at in terms of their rights, and certainly encouraging them to attend an information session like this and to get linked in with other business owners that, are willing to stand shoulder to shoulder and stand and open up for them together, right? So a little sort of teaser card flyer type of thing is almost done as well, so that because right now we've been reaching out to people that we personally know, but this is something that we can take to just about every business, and present it to them, and obviously, just help, like I said, just help them to face their reality, because I think a lot of people are disillusioned and they think, oh, if I just comply for another 2 weeks or another month, we'll get back to normal. And I mean, we haven't seen any signs of that, right? So what is that for business?
Yep.
When it's enough.
That's another reason why I wanted to make sure that Tony and his friend there in Little Italy with the salon was on this call, because I know that he's ready to open. So, and it's guys like you that are just, it's like do or die kind of thing that we really need you guys to take the lead, because you will set the example for every other small business in your area, because you can guarantee on the day that you open that they're going to come just to see what happens. So and we're going to make sure the supports are there for you, both through legally, lawfully, and through public pressure. So once they see that sort of support, that you can bet your ass that it's going to domino effect. And then and that's what we're counting on, right? So it's guys like you that we really need to just trust us. We'll have your back. I will personally, if it were to end up in court somehow, I will personally be beside you the entire way.
Well, and again, for most people, you can see like myself and a few other people, we were physically present at Adamson's a couple of weeks back. Like, we're not just talking about, we physically are there. There are hundreds of people that are going to come and support the business right to operate. There's nothing else that we can do at this point. So I personally believe that the businesses actually have an opportunity and almost an obligation to end this. And I really believe that once the businesses are open up, and two primarily sectors that we focus on is restaurants and any type of wellness gym facilities, this can actually end, because people just go back to those businesses. There's not going to be spikes in hospitalizations, whatever, because again, it's us who's going to go there, right? We don't get tested, so there's no spike in cases. So it's very straightforward. And more than anything, we have to take a risk. And again, I just want to empower the business owners. All of you took a risk to open
And
your
I
business
and
to begin with.
as for the spikes in hospital, I'm going to be releasing footage later on tonight. I've got troops out on the ground that have sent me footage from within hospitals within the GTA. They're all full of shit. So, and we've got the video coverage, and we'll be releasing it tonight.
Yeah, no, it's all across Canada. We have pictures from Vancouver hospitals. Obviously, Ontario going to be coming up. We had pictures, videos actually from Winnipeg a couple of weeks ago. Like all of them are empty. So what I was saying earlier, for the business owner specifically, this is a call to action, saying that you took a risk initially to open up your business. You're taking a risk. You know, you don't know how your business is going to go. You kind of have a plan and you have a strategy, and that's great. And then you're taking a risk to open up your business, and you succeeded. That's why you're here. Now you have to take another risk again and actually open up your business again. And understand that there's going to be risk involved, and that's something that you have to take. However, you have responsibility to yourself, to your family, and to your community, and to the country to really end this scamdemic and case-demic, and just end this economic terrorism and assault on this class. So we have to take the action this week.
And essentially, you can use Adamson's and what happened with Adamson's as an example. Your country, you need to learn to trust, you know, the people that in your country, because if you look at what happened with Adamson's, he's still got donations pouring in. So, you know, at the end of the day, even if he were to lose that one location, he's got now enough money to open 8 more. Okay.
Yeah,
and that's just from the support of you know, the people in this country alone.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you're not going to lose. You know, you're not going to lose.
Sorry, Kelly, your internet, I think, is breaking up. But in any case, so yes, so we have to take the action. I just want to open for the questions, because I know we have, again, Tony and other business owners here. So if you have any specific questions, please ask us. We're here to obviously address them. Again, we want to be transparent, right? This is not about, you know, you're definitely going to have some repercussions. There's definitely going to be something happening. And that should be okay, because again, that's a risk should be taken now to really save your business. The last point that I want to make before opening for questions, and then we can finish this call, is the reality for a lot of businesses, and maybe that's a wake-up call, and I'm sorry if I'm giving you a rude awakening, is that even if you choose to open tomorrow fully, the reality that for some businesses, then they're not going to survive anyway, it's a fact, because you're so deep in a hole, unfortunately, after 9 months of this onslaught on your business, that even if you open fully tomorrow, maybe there's 10% chance of you surviving. And guess what? That's what you have to go with. So having said that, any specific questions anyone has, please? Just unmute yourself and then you can ask, or you can type it in the chat if you like, and I can see it.
Hi. Hi, this is Rose from Ottawa. I just wanted to know more about the information that we would need to share with our restaurants here, because we are in an orange zone right now, on how we can help them. Is it the same guidelines that Samantha was sharing earlier, that we can just fully open and not follow all these restrictions?
Yeah, so partially, and then I'll let Samantha to address it too. So the idea is you just open your restaurant, you just say that, you know, we allow people to exercise their own freedoms, and we can create even like a flyer that we can put on a business that they can say. The other thing, obviously, what we are providing to the businesses is we are all essential sign. So then, you know, if you deem non-essential, we definitely can provide you with a sign so you can understand that part of the network. So those couple of things that we can have to identify as a part of the network, and just open it up and allow people to come in and then dining in your place. Go ahead, Samantha.
I was going to say that the document that I showed you is sort of a framework. Currently, it is being adapted for Ontario, Joelle. And for anybody on this call, whether you're a business owner or you're looking to volunteer your time to help us get this initiative out there more than it has been, if you could send me even a private chat just with your contact information so I can keep you in the loop. But certainly, Joelle, I believe, if I understand it, you're looking to help us to approach businesses. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So in Ottawa, businesses are open. Just obviously they're not fully at their full capacity. So I want to know how I can use what you shared earlier in order to push them to work at full capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the same principles would apply, right? In that these mandates, even if it's just a reduction in capacity or whatnot, they're not justified by the numbers, by the supposed state of emergency. So yeah.
And so, and then we kind of created a 2-step process. We discussed this a couple of weeks ago in our first call. Is the first step, if you are approaching a business for the first time, we definitely recommend to build a relationship first, right? So if you're going to be helping us in Ottawa region and you have some restaurants, maybe you don't know personally, but you definitely want to help them out. The first step would be is actually go there in person and introduce yourself as a volunteer for the We Are All Essential initiative, and give them just some basic information, and then invite them into the Zoom info session like this one today. Because we come in from understanding that people definitely want to build trust first, especially if they don't know you. So we want to create this kind of 2-step process, not necessarily just trying to sell them on an idea of opening up, but more empowering people with information. So that's what we want to do. We want to, for you to start a conversation with them, definitely leave them some information, and we're going to have those pamphlets either in the email version. You can ask, can I get your email? I can email you some stuff. In the meantime, we're not going to have printed version just yet, and then you can invite them into the Zoom session. So yeah, and then there was something else I wanted to say, but go ahead, Samantha.
Yeah, I was also going to say that, pardon me. Oh, we have, Joelle, we're actually creating a little guide for volunteers as well, in terms of what is the process, right? Feeling them out, where are they at? What kind of support would they need? What kind of concerns do they have? Obviously providing some additional information after the fact, but just how to approach those conversations. And so that is in the works as well, should be done in the next day or so as well. So a lot of things are going to be ready in the next couple of days. And then one thing I forgot to mention earlier for the business owners that are on this call, I've set up some Telegram chats. So Telegram being a messenger type of service app. And what we want to do is have all the business owners that are in, the hospitality industry be in the same chat and be able to see, wow, okay, this is growing. We know there's support. We can see it. We can ask each other's questions. We can share our victories. We can, all this stuff. So just to have more direct support versus it always coming from one of the people behind the scenes, like myself or Vlad or whoever, right? So it's about really connecting them, you guys together, right? And so we have another chat for the fitness wellness industries as well, and we can certainly add more chats. But it's about getting them the information they need in different forms. We have all that from the website itself to these kinds of packages that we can offer people, and also helping them to directly connect with one another. Right?
And then thank you so much. That's exactly what I forgot to mention earlier, is the Telegram support chat groups. And because again, the whole idea behind what we do is actually to build strong network of business owners. That's why what we're doing is We're All Essential, and then we're creating the network. And as well as we want to work as overall network of all the businesses, we are creating already a specific network for the individual sectors. So the first 2 primary one that we're working on is a wellness fitness one, and then any type of hospitality, bars, restaurants, lounges, catering companies, whatever you name it, and then creating the support with those 2. So then you can have already internal conversation, internal dialogues, and already have like Samantha mentioned, to see the strength of growing community, right? And that's definitely what we have going for us, because at the end of the day, we have the numbers, we have the power. The challenge that we obviously have is most businesses are, and the government is playing on that, they are ignorant, they're intimidated, and they feel disconnected, right? So we want to address all those 3 things. We want to empower people with information, with the right knowledge about what's really going on in the world. We also want to empower people with information about not to be intimidated by the fines or anything else that the government's trying to throw at them. And then most important, to connect them to the other business owners, and especially within their own sector, so then they can see they are not the only one. And this is exactly what I've done with Hugs of a Mask from day one, where we're connecting like-minded individuals first to show them that we're not the only one. And as soon as that happens, there's a tremendous strength that creates within people. So exactly what we did with Hugs of a Mask, now we're duplicating in We're All Essential initiative. So I'm very excited. Awesome. Okay, guys, any last minute questions? Otherwise, I'm going to make this nice, short, and 45-minute long.
Okay.
I have a quick request, just real quick, for any business owners on this call, as well as any volunteers that maybe I haven't connected with directly. If you would like to stay in the loop, be a part of this in any shape or form, or just to just be kept in the loop in terms of how many our initiatives. If you could send me a private message here in Zoom, and which is with your contact info, I can add you to our database and make sure that you continue to stay in the loop.
Yeah, so two things we can do is, one is you can send a message for our website. We're allessential.ca right now, and then you just put a comment exactly, well, if you're a volunteer, if you're a business owner, any type of business you have, and I'll direct that to Samantha. And then you can find us on Telegram, and I can add you to the appropriate chats that we already have set up, with the volunteer chat, with the hospitality business chat, with the wellness fitness business chat as well. Tina, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you haven't seen the infographic, I just uploaded it in the chat. It has some interesting stats. Might want to check it out. Might be something to, in your dialogue with business owners, you might want to mention some of these stats.
Let's see if I can open it up.
Well, thank you.
Oh, yeah. I've seen this one. It's really good. Yeah. So this is perfect. Yeah, for Ontario. Let's see if I can share my screen so that people can see it. Who's on a call right now? Oops. Maybe I can't share the screen. Any other questions? So otherwise we are good. Oops. Share screen. Where is the share screen button? I forgot. I don't share screen too often. Oh yeah.
Why don't I share
screen. You got it? Okay, go ahead. Perfect.
Oh, sure.
I think I got it. Let me see. Let me see. Who's got it first? I got it. You got it.
I don't know. I think you took over. I'm not sure.
Okay. So this is the infographic for Ontario. You guys can see it?
Yeah, we saw that this morning. Who put this together? Do you know who put this together?
One of the great people we have in our different movements.
Okay. No, we actually saw it this morning. We were waiting to post it on our site too. So we're gonna do that.
Yeah. So this is for Ontario. It shows to you that we have literally less people dying in 2018. I mean, less people in 2020 compared to 2018, 2019. And another infographic that we did by the Bright Light News organization, where it shows the whole country of Canada. It shows like the what do you call that? The graph with different columns, and it shows that 2020 is lower than 2019 or even 2018. So it's relevant to Ontario or to Canada. And I also actually shared a picture on my Facebook. Again, we can all maybe make it part of the package, Samantha, where it actually shows you from specific causes of death as well, a breakdown of deaths within Canada from different causes of death, or even it shows you different months. So yeah, there's a lot of this information, and this is basically excess death numbers, where they definitely couldn't share this in the beginning of this, called pandemic. So that's why they should have mentioned from the beginning of the hospitalization numbers and death counts, and they still don't really mention those two anyway. But it says death numbers now really shows that we never had a pandemic this year. Okay, guys, unless we have last minute questions, so we're gonna end the recording of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And if anyone has a question,